Jerry Paxton with GamingShogun.com here again, this time with Mr. Smallis, who was After Dark Horror Fest 2007's Miss Horror Fest. And we're here at the Fangoria Weekend of Horrors, just looking around. How are you liking the Weekend of Horrors right now?
I'm having a really good time meeting some awesome horror fans and some really good supporters of our company.
And so you guys are here promoting what right now?
We are here promoting After Dark Films, the 8 Films to Die For, and our new movie coming out May 9th called Frontiers.
Awesome. And you're also a huge video blogger, from what I understand, correct?
I am. Part of my job is Miss Horror Fest 2007. I do a lot of promo stuff for the company, but the channel is so people can get to know me better as Miss Horror Fest. So I have a lot of my everyday life. I have a video of me doing my back tattoo. I have a video of me shaving my head. I have a lot of really cool stuff on there, and I have a lot of fun doing it. And you can go. Let me tell you.
Yeah, absolutely. What is the URL so we can go to it?
Okay, it's youtube.com/maliciouspain. And actually, in your search, you can type in Mistress Malice. I think there may actually be another Mistress Malice.
Maybe.
That's his actual mistress. But make sure that it says Horror Fest, and it'll take you to mine in case. But otherwise, it's youtube.com/maliciouspain.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It's nice to talk to you again.
Thank you. Nice to talk to you.
Awesome.
So, tell us about the release of Frontiers and what attracted you to distributing this film in the U.S., Courtney?
It was an amazing film. I mean, we saw this film and we just said this film's awesome and it's got to come out in the U.S. And essentially, we did our usual thing with the MPAA, who loves us, and sent them off the film and said, hey, could you give us a rating? And they sent it back to us and said, basically, if you want an R in this film, you need to cut the last 40 minutes. In other words, usually it's like you can cut a couple of shots here, cut a couple of shots there, and you can take it down to an R from an NC-17. This was literally the last 40 minutes are so abrasive, I think is the word that they used, that it's relentless was another word that they used, that you had to cut the whole thing. So we sort of stepped back and we said, well, and this, just so you know the history of this is kind of a funny story because we bought it for 8 Films to Die For Horror Fest, for last year's Horror Fest. It was supposed to be the primo movie of Horror Fest. And for that, you need to have rated movies to go into the movie theaters. You can't do an unrated, you can't do an NC-17, it's not cool. So basically, we stepped back and we said, well, what are we going to do with the movie? And at the end of the day, we said, you know what, we're not cutting 40 minutes, it ruins the movie, it's a great movie. So instead, we decided we'd put it out separately, we'd find another movie to replace it at the last second, which was Lake Dead.
How many of you out there attended After Dark Horror Fest 1 and 2, or 1 and 2, both separately? All right. So that begs the question, what are the plans for After Dark Horror Fest 3, Courtney?
Well, After Dark Horror Fest 3 is a go. We started real early this year. We tried to learn from 1 and 2. One thing that we're doing that's very unique this year is we're producing the first 2 original movies for After Dark Horror Fest.
What's the title of the first one? The Slaughter, and the other one is?
The other one is Perkins 14 by the website, but we're actually not sure we're going to keep that title. So it was Massify Untitled. Now it's Perkins 14, which is the concept that won on the website. And we're not sure we're going to keep it. Should be Perkins 14, but we've been banding around a couple of names. And actually, we've been banding around a couple of names for Slaughter, just in case you hear this later. We might, change it to something else, which is Faith. One thing we're trying to do this year for After Dark is we've been criticized in the past for some of the quality of the Horror Fest movies. Horror Fest is a tough thing because the idea originally was to make an event for the audience, to make it fun around the country and really make the biggest horror festival in the world. And then it goes to DVD and does what it does. It wasn't supposed to ever reach 20 million at box office. I mean, in a week or a weekend, it can't, and it never was supposed to. But on the product and the quality side, we really have wanted to bring up the level this year with everything that After Dark and Autonomous is doing. It's just sort of been our most important mandate of what we're doing. So Frontiers, for an example, is one where we're trying to say back to the audience, here you go, here's a film that you will like, it's a good film, it's good quality, we spent the money, we went out and made sure we picked the right one. we're very confident that people are going to have a good time at this movie. The idea is that when we get to Horror Fest 4 next year, all 8 films will be original films that we do. None will be acquisitions. The previous 2 years, no films were original. They were all films that we acquired from somebody that already made them. And so we didn't have a say in the making of the films, and there's a limited number of films that you can actually choose from that are still available that haven't been scooped up by another studio for either DVD release or theatrical release or whatever the case may be. So that's another thing that's going to be really exciting for Horror Fest this year and next year, is that they're all going to be, you know, original films, so they really will be different for the whole genre. You know, in other words, there will be one slasher, there will be one, you know, that's a haunting movie or a ghost story. There will be all types of horror represented in next year's Horror Fest. This year, we're trying to even it out as much as possible. And that's why I said we hit the ground running. I can't announce any of the acquisitions yet, but we've already got 3 of the films acquired plus the 2 originals, and the website heavily under development, so that it launches very early. We get the theater locations out to you extremely early this year. We do the all-access passes the right way and make sure that they work for everybody. And we actually give away stuff that people want as opposed to stuff that they don't want. I mean, bluntly, I mean, you learn as you go along. And so those are the things that we're doing to try to improve the whole event, make it more fun for everybody. But I can tell you, 2 of the films we've already gotten this year for acquisition are up in the Frontiers level as far as the quality is concerned. So if the 2 we make are in that ballpark, and we keep going like that, hopefully we'll have a very consistent, positive Horror Fest.
Could you give us a scoop on what those 2 movies are?
One of the movies I can tell you that we're really close on is The Broken. It's a very, very cool movie.
British
Does anyone
horror.
know it?
What is the other one? No, that's a
No,
British
I'm
horror.
just giving you one.
Are you just giving me one?
You have to wait for the other one. So anyway, we're really trying to bring up the whole quality of Horror Fest, and that's the idea of it. It's just that the films are what it's about, and then the event becomes fun as well. But I mean, it's really the films.